Times Beach was a unfortunate situation that became a ghost town here just west of St. Louis. Right now I'm in what is the Route 66 State Park, and behind me is Highway 44, so it's noisy, so not too far from here. But also behind me is where Times Beach used to be located. It had at one time more than 2,000 people and was completely evacuated in early 1983 due to dioxin contamination. It was the largest exposure to dioxin in the history of the United States. The town was officially disincorporated in 1985, and then they decided to clean it up, and by 1999 they opened a park and they took it off the Superfund list that does things like that. So really terrible situation. There's a long story. I'll put in the comments, I'll put some links to if you want to see the details of it without going into exactly what happened here. But yeah, a couple thousand people here. There's nobody here now except for this park. There's a visitor center here and a lot of Route 66 kind of history. So definitely worth stopping as you're on Route 66 to get a little bit of the history of what happened here. Rosati, Missouri is just a short, I can see Route 66, the main Route 66 from here, just a couple hundred feet away. So you pull off, you drive over here, and it's mainly known for wine and grapes here. So originally it was named after Joseph Rosati, who was a Roman Catholic Archdiocese of St. Louis. The railroad runs right through the middle of town, so obviously the success of the early days of this town were based on the railroad. The Italian immigrants tried to start winery here, and they were not successful in the early days, but they were successful in growing Concord grapes to make juice. And so that happened for a while, and then later on the local growers here did figure out how to have a winery. And so as you drive kind of on the main Route 66, you'll drive past a vineyard, and so obviously that's a big part of the history. I'm standing here right next to the Rosati Winery Museum that has been closed. It was closed the last time I was on Route 66, so I don't know if there's plans for it to be open, but it's one of the main things to see. The town is pretty spread out, and there are a lot of really nice houses, and so obviously there's not a lot of old abandoned buildings, but a lot of nice places. It's a beautiful area of Missouri to explore here in Rosati, Missouri. Originally, this was called Little Piney, and the reason it was called Little Piney was because there's the Piney Creek right over here, and it was a place where people fished and kind of a recreational area. It got busier when Route 66 came through here, obviously. This was the last part of Route 66 that was paved in 1931. So it kind of had a short history on Route 66 because in the 1960s, they bypassed this road, and actually this became a dead end. And as you come down this road, it's a little bit of a ways to get down here, and this is a dead end now in Arlington. So it was a fairly popular place for a couple decades, and behind me is all that remains. There's a couple of historic buildings. There's a very cool one that says Arlington on it, but it's definitely to get here is a little bit out of the way. So make sure that if you're exploring Route 66, you take a couple minutes to do a little side trip down here to Arlington. As you turn on to Arlington Road to come down here, there is another kind of Route 66 landmark called John's Modern Cabins, and they don't look that modern anymore. So let's take a look at John's Modern Cabins. So Arlington Road, we just got off of, is right there, and there's this little gravel road, I guess you call it, over here to what was, I believe, the original Route 66, which would head that way towards Arlington. And then right over here is what's left of John's Modern Cabins. Devil's Elbow, Missouri. It's got a evil kind of a name, but the reason it's called Devil's Elbow is because right here where the river turns into a elbow, it looks, I don't know, a little devilish, I guess. It was named that by local sportsmen, fishermen, and hunters in the 1800s. And it became a community in the late 1800s to because there was people like to fish and hunt in this area, and it was a really beautiful area. And then in 1926, Route 66 came through here, and this bridge kind of was the significant thing to check out here. It is the only curved bridge on Route 66 that you can still drive across. So the only one in the entire route from Illinois to California, which is pretty cool. But then this was the original Route 66 in 1926. And in 1945, they changed the route a little bit and bypassed Devil's Elbow. So it declined in popularity. Used to have more businesses and some places to stay. And there is a community of people, houses, and a little community here. Obviously, they take care of the bridge. They're putting lights on it, and so they're a proud community here in Devil's Elbow. grow grapes to start a winery that was not successful. they started to try